Southern Miss explodes late. It's a bonus episode of Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz back with Locked On Sunbelt. It is Monday morning. We have the other episode up, recapping what happened over the weekend, but we were recording it during the Southern Miss Penn ball game. And, you know, what a game it was until the eighth inning. And, boy, how about Justin Storm again? He did not have it in the opening game of the regional, gives up a two-run home run. After pitching so well against the Cajuns in the Sun Belt Championship game, and comes out and pitches a whale of a ball game in place of Mazza, the starter. 5 2/3 innings, 1 base hit, and 10 strikeouts, not giving up a run. In fact, when he came in and they were down 2-1. Southern Miss scores 2 in the 6th and then explodes with an 8-run ninth inning for what appears to be an easy 11-2 victory, but it was anything but that. As Southern Miss will play Penn again today. I think it's 2 p.m. Central Time for the chance to win the regional and move on to the Super Regional, which there could be controversy. I don't know how they determine it. Tennessee was playing in the Clemson Regional, so they're, in the 4. Do they get the 4? Right, Clemson was the number 4 seed, and so does Tennessee become the 4 seed? Southern Miss was playing in Auburn; they were 13. Technically, Southern Miss was a higher number 2 seed than Tennessee was, but that's not the way they do things. So big ball game for Southern Miss. Let's check out what happened here. Again, it's a 2-1 ball game until the 6th inning. Do we have? Let me see the box score. Do we have how long this game? I went to bed at 10. And so I think it was 2-1 in the 5th. We have the game status here. Do we have how long the game was? Let's see. Game notes. 3:04. And so finished up at 11:30. So good move by me by going to sleep. Southern Miss fans, I'm sure you were awake. All right. So it's a 2-1 ball game into the 6th inning. Pato triples and scored on a throwing error, he scored on a throwing error. So Monteseer walks and Pato triples, and he comes around to score on a throwing error by the first baseman. So 2 batters in to the 6th inning, and Southern Miss takes the lead. Crazy. Turned around just like that. A 2-1 ball game is a 3-2 ball game. All right. Well, if you're Penn and now you're facing Justin Storm for, at least the second time, if not the third time around, maybe you're like, well, if we can get this to the bottom of the 9th and make it a 1-run game, we can scratch across 1 run. That's not what happened. Let's check out what happened in the 9th. Wilkes reached on an error. Sargent singled. Parker doubled. Wilkes scored. Danny Lynch grounds out. Monteseer with a single, 2 score. Pato with a single, runners on first and third. Montenegro reaches on a fielder's choice. Monteseer scored, and it just, boom, 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 boom. So they got 1 out, and already 1, 2, 3, 4 runs have scored. It's an 8-run 9th inning. And Southern Miss with it ends up being an easy 11-2 ball game. But for 2 hours and 50 minutes, it was anything, or 2 hours, maybe 45 minutes. It was anything but. But instead of having to beat Auburn twice, and no disrespect to Penn, but now they have to beat Penn twice. Now they got to be close to the same. Maybe Southern Miss has played 1 more ball game, right? So we'll see. You would think that Southern Miss would be a little bit deeper than Penn. But as we all saw, say in the NBA playoffs, right? Someone tweaks an ankle in the first 5 seconds of the game, and that may change the whole game. So we will see what happens. Southern Miss plays Penn 2 p.m. Central Time. And Coastal Carolina, who also lost in a nutty ball game on Friday against Rider, they are in the regional final, and they're taking on Duke. So the Cajuns lost, right? I mean, overall, Miami has better pitching and much better hitting. Same for Texas. Texas didn't lose. They beat Miami twice, and they beat the Cajuns. Well, no, they beat the Cajuns, and then they beat Miami twice. They didn't even have to play Maine. Miami beat Maine. So, I mean, that's a pretty impressive regional for Texas. They were never really threatened, although they were down 3-0 to Miami. Then they got a 9-run inning going themselves. So the Cajuns lost. We mentioned Troy, poor Trojans, right? They should have beaten Alabama. Not could have, should have beaten Alabama. And who knows what happens then. Not saying that they advanced, but they went from playing in the regional final on Sunday to be eliminated on Sunday. Poor Trojans. But Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina carrying the Sun Belt flag. They very well could both make it to the Super Regional. Virginia's already through. So if Coastal Carolina beats Duke, they'll get the Cavaliers in Charlottesville. The big question is, who does, and we talked about this, who does host the Super Regional? Is it Tennessee in Knoxville, or is it going to be Southern Miss? Aaron Fitt, by the way, pointed out, as did others from D1 Baseball, the Southern Miss outdrew Tennessee last year during the Super Regionals. So if it's based on tickets, you can't just give it to Knoxville, as you would think they would draw more, but apparently that was not the case. Okay, we did want to do a quick recap of what happened yesterday. Southern Miss is through. We knew Coastal was through. In fact, I had to correct it. It just didn't seem right, like they had to beat Duke twice today. So they beat them once yesterday. They have to beat them again today. I did want to tell you a little bit about FanDuel. Make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs, because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Now, I did lose the first bet I made, the Heat covering game one. But I didn't bet on game two per se, but I bet that it would at least go 6 ball games. So I need the Heat to win one more ball game, and I will cash in, not a whole lot of money, but something. All right. If they win one more ball game and at least go 6 ball games. I also have the Heat winning, although I do have a parlay with the Panthers and the Nuggets winning. So I have all my bases covered per se. There's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sports book. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, again, thank you so much for tuning in for a quick bonus episode of Locked On Sunbelt. I am your host, Dave Schultz. We'll recap what happens on Monday for Tuesday's episode and see if Southern Miss and Coastal Carolina can play in the Super Regionals. Until that time, again, thanks so much for watching and listening to Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day.